Initiating podcast download. Prepare yourself. Put on your spandex. Lace up your boots. Wrap your wrists. Hide your razor blade. Head to gorilla position. Grease up your hair. Apply baby oil. Okay, apply more baby oil. Get into gimmick. Keep your ears open and your mouth shut. Have fun and be safe out there, brother. Welcome to Iron on Wrestling. Now your host, Gregory
Hello again,
Iron.
everyone. Welcome to another edition of Iron on Wrestling with Gregory Iron. I'm your host, Gregory Iron. This is episode 283, and several things are torn within me, and it is sad, and I'm weeping, and wish I was still sleeping. No,
Hello.
no!
To Manscaped,
God damn it.
I have returned,
Yep.
Chico.
Okay. Glad to see you back. Even though we're not sponsored by any ball
This
shaving
is not
organization.
a sponsorship. Man.
All right. Good to know.
Pardon the interruption.
Hi.
It's Aaron Bauer, and I'm here with you, and you're here with me, and we're here together.
Yep.
And you've got a torn labrum.
Not officially, but
A ripped vagina. So maybe you tore your rotator cuff, huh?
yeah, we'll find out officially tomorrow, which will be Tuesday.
Hey.
Obviously, if you're listening to this for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you download podcasts, it's Wednesday. So stick around.
Wednesday.
Stay tuned to my social media for updates. Yeah. So let's backtrack.
Well, I'm going to tell you to be prepared for something.
For Emily?
No. For everybody to say, did you tear your rotor cup?
Oh, boy.
So they get both words wrong.
Rotor cup.
Yeah, and almost all the time. So
Yeah.
it's a rotator and it's a cuff.
Yeah.
So it's probably your super slaplatus.
So I was booked in.
Oh, God, no. Oh!
Sorry.
Oh!
We don't have a cough button on this podcast.
You wouldn't be able to hit it anyways because you've torn your good arm now.
Yeah, well, I currently have very limited use, but pushing and pulling, lifting my arm and out stretching it, trying to lift it above my head is
Stroking.
painful. I definitely couldn't stroke anything if I wanted to right now, which, if there's any
Ladies or
any
guys,
ladies out there,
whatever.
can help a brother out, that'd be great.
Yeah, because otherwise I got to do it, and I am just tired of it.
It's like milking a cow. And yeah, I don't know. So I was booked for Top Tier on Saturday in Hamilton and was not even in a match. Okay, I was
Nope. That's how bad you suck.
I was the manager at ringside for my brother Zach and Alice Crawley. And in the match, I ran in, tried to stop one of their opponents, Chris Chambers, from doing a crossbody off the top rope. I ducked it. He hit my brother. I was like, oh no, don't hit my brother. And he was pinning him for what he wanted to be the count of 3. And then on the count of 2, as I'm jumping in the air for a back senton, he moved, and I hit my own brother. And then I was like, oh no, I hit my own brother. And then I turned around and I got punched by his tag team partner, a young lady whose name escapes me at the moment because I'm just flustered with the situation I'm in. I take the punch. I move over to the rope to then take a clothesline over the top rope. And in this situation, when this happens, I place my arm on the top rope and I put my foot on the bottom rope. And when I am hit with a clothesline, the momentum of the clothesline and the strength of the rope and my back flipping ability, which is very limited, but it's there. It's good enough to do this bump over the top rope, and I enjoy doing it because it creates the illusion that I'm athletic. However, this is not the normal top tier ring that is usually there. Usually they get their ring from a guy by the name of Rip Impact. And I did not realize that until I was feeling the top rope that was uncharacteristically loose. And in my head, I was like, oh, geez, this rope doesn't feel right. I got to hold on tight. And hopefully, Chambers blasts me over this top rope. He hit me good, but the looseness of the rope, there was no... It's hard to do the pop-up and backflip when... the ropes are too loose. And so he's pushing and I'm throwing myself, and as this is happening I could just feel my arm pulling, and I'm like, oh, it's not good. And I go over the top rope and I hit the floor, and instantly arm is sagging, can't pick it up, burning. I started to drive home, but it was very difficult to turn the vehicle, so I had to have the kids take over to drive home. And if this would have been even a couple weeks ago with the pro wrestler mentality, I would have said, let me wait a few days, see what happens. And a few days would have turned into a few weeks probably, until it became more unbearable than it is right at this very moment. But I've been learning that when I hurt, mentally, physically, that, whether I want to believe it or not, affects other people. And I do believe it. And so I thought to myself, you know what? I need to go to the hospital. But I need to at least sleep for a few hours, because the time changed. It was 3 a.m. at this point when we got home. So I'm going to sleep till like 10 or 11. 8 a.m. rolls around, and at this point, there had been several times where I tried to move in my sleep, and I'd wake myself up and with a groan that was something like this. And it was like I was being anally
Penetrated?
Penetrated. That's a better word than the R word. And so that was happening, and that actually wasn't happening.
It was happening,
No,
huh?
it was not happening.
I knew it.
No,
I
no,
knew it
no,
the whole
no,
time.
No.
Who's the guy?
But so I was like, I have to go now. Somehow, some way, Parma University Hospital was dead as far as people in the emergency room. No one dead in the emergency room, but there was like no one physically there. And I was taken in right away, and they took some x-rays, and the dude that examined me seemed to think like, because I was thinking like, could it be my pec? Could it be my bicep tendon? Could it be my bicep? But none of these are like instantly black and blue, so I'm not sure. And he seemed to think that it was like a little bit of my pec and possibly my bicep tendon. But he wanted me to come back the next day to see an orthopedic surgeon, get their opinion. And so I go to the orthopedic surgeon today, and on top of the fact that I'm struggling to use my arm, like it's hurting to opening doors, closed doors, I'm compensating with my right hand, which is barely useful. They tell me that my doctor's name is Hannah. Currently in a situation with my Hannah where she's not really my Hannah anymore, and so
Well, let's get into that.
let's not get into that.
Yeah, that's way more
No,
interesting than
it's
hearing
not.
about how you got a little boo-boo.
It's not, but so that's a thing that's I'm struggling with right now, and so of course my doctor's name is Hannah, and she comes in the room. She's like, "Oh, how you doing today?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, not so good. Can't use either of my arms, and your name is Hannah." And me and my girlfriend or
When
ex-girlfriend.
did they start
are
calling
some stuff.
doctors by their first name?
Don't know, but only in this scenario where.
You sure Hannah's not her last name?
No, well, it doesn't matter. This would be the scenario in which they would refer to someone as their first name, because Hannah has been weighing heavily on my mind, and so of course, whatever it is in the universe that controls all is like, you know what, we're just going to give you more reminders, more pain, more suffering. And so I go, and on top of everything, your name is Hannah, and I'm going through a thing with a girl that I was dating, Hannah, or maybe I'm still dating, I don't know. She says, "I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "It's not your fault. Your name is Hannah. You didn't name yourself Hannah unless you legally had a name change to Hannah." And so basically, long story short, tomorrow at 10:30, which will be Tuesday the 11th.
Yes.
I'm going to go to another hospital in Independence, Ohio, to get an MRI, and they are going to figure out officially, because Dr. Hannah seems to think that it's probably my rotator cuff and or a tear in a minor tear in my pec, and
A minor.
the hope is that it's not severe enough to where I need surgery and I can get PT. And with that, I mean, either way, best case scenario, I'm going to be down and out for at least 8 weeks. And this means 8 weeks from lifting, 8 weeks from working. I can't physically work my job because the act of just moving, simple movements are paining my arm. And again, I can't compensate with another arm because I don't have one that works. So I'm stressed, but I'm trying to remain optimistic because I've got a lot of good people in my life, a lot of people supporting me and are there for me. But this is one of my worst fears come to life. And if I have to have surgery on my arm, this means that I will be in a sling for 8 weeks, which also means that I won't be able to feed myself, bathe myself. I can't even wipe my own ass. And so this is not something that
I wipe my own ass.
I know.
Is
yeah.
that Big Daddy?
Yeah, Big Daddy. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, one of the saddest. I wipe my own ass.
Yeah. Sonny, I wipe my own ass. Yeah. So, before I ask you about it, I want to thank Josh Newman, Josh Excellence from Patreon. He immediately reached out and asked me if it was cool if him and the guys created a GoFundMe to help me out, because I don't know. Through my week job, I might be getting 50 or 60% of pay if it gets approved for my time off. If not, I'm totally screwed. But to help compensate, he set up a GoFundMe. For starters, right now, he set it up for $5,000 to just try to, get me through the stuff that I need for the next couple months. Pay my bills, my mortgage, all that good stuff. And I have insurance, thankfully. But, if there's surgery, if there's PT, there's still going to be stuff that I have to cover. So when we figure out what that looks like, that will probably be in addition to on the GoFundMe. If you can contribute, it's much appreciated. If not, if you at least share it, that's appreciated too. And, I don't forget how you guys have helped me in the past, back when I injured my dick and the GoFundMe was out there. You guys came out in droves and were there for me.
Stars were out then, too.
Yeah.
Gary Barnage from the Cleveland Browns.
Gary Barnage.
Sent you a ton of money.
He did. Very nice
man. He never
man.
sent a thank you, but that's all right.
I did thank him very much. But us, it's. I thought it was the people from other countries that aren't thankful for when Americans offer their hand.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I don't know if that's true or
That's
not.
what Donald Trump seems to think. And what's that?
Don't you want
Vance?
money from Republicans and Democrats?
Yeah. No,
Okay,
I'm not picking sides here. I'm just saying, is that what happened? But thank you guys for supporting me in all of this. And Aaron, you actually had rotator cuff surgery.
Twice.
How did you hurt it?
Twice.
And what did recovery look like for you? Tell me something good, so that way I can feel good about and explain to me in a sling. Obviously, you had another arm, but did you feel like you were completely helpless from doing anything? Because I feel like I'm gonna at least need my hand while in the sling to maybe bend down a little bit and try to eat some food.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get a straw, and everything you eat will be pureed. And soup.
Come on, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know, but first off, I'd like to say, where the fuck were all these people when I blew out my ACL and meniscus? Nobody set up a GoFundMe for me. Wow. Thank you, dickheads. I repeatedly remember asking you, can you help me out with this? Because you do it all the time, and I've never done this before, and I won't have any money for a long time. But nobody helped me. But 5 minutes after you announce it, you've already got 20 grand in the bank.
That's not true.
Rotator cuff, I think there was a combination, I believe, of what actually did it. So, wrestling, training to wrestle, okay, I think was the first part.
Power bombs
Yes.
from Rod Destiny.
Hey, bro. And weightlifting, because I lifted an absurd amount of weights for the age that I was, when I was younger.
Yeah.
So those two things. And then I was in an automobile accident. And I, much like what you were saying earlier, was rear-ended. But you were rear-ended in a different way, I think, right?
Well,
When you were going, oh. Anyway, so I went to the doctor. I went to the first doctor. They said you get through it with physical therapy. And then my lawyer, who was not a scam artist at all, turned to me and said, if you want to get paid out of this, you have to have surgery.
yeah.
That bumps it up from a settlement of $5,000 to like $25,000.
Oh.
So I immediately went to a doctor that he recommended,
Okay.
who was like, oh, I've never seen anything worse than this. Let's go ahead and set you up for surgery.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I had some help. I had a couple friends that were, willing to help out. See, this is going to be real difficult for you. Yeah, because I was able to use my left hand,
Yeah.
my left arm.
Mm-hmm.
This was on my right, and I am right-handed. So
Yeah.
I got the surgery, but also in one of those stories that you go, I don't think that, that was very good upbringing, childhood. It came back to help me because there were times where my mom told me I wasn't allowed to use the right arm because it was devilish or something.
Oh, okay.
And that she took it as me going to strike her if I picked up my right arm. So I had to begin learning to eat left-handed and right left-handed. So I already had a little bit of a head start then.
Okay.
And I was able to, what's it called? Ambidextrous?
Ambidextrous.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I got that way a little bit. Now, the first surgery, dude, I never healed right. And 10 years later, it was completely torn again. It had fallen apart. Now, the second time I had the surgery, within a week, I could tell that it was very different.
Yeah.
And that this was going to work. And I have not had a problem with my shoulder since then. So I think what happens is, as the years go on, we as a nation or as a world, develop better medical practices.
Mm-hmm.
So the surgeons are better. They have better equipment. They know more things.
Yeah.
And I got the healing that I needed. So I think I was out of work for 4 weeks.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. But there's a little thing, like things that you're not even expecting at first, like, oh man, how do I wipe my own ass?
Mm-hmm. Was that 4 weeks with the sling off? The sling came off after 4 weeks?
Yes.
Okay, that makes
But
sense.
I'm a faster healer than a lot of people too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Well, I've been trying to
you
heal
have
my
one
whole
arm
life.
that has been hurting you your whole life, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah, my arm, my brain.
Yeah. You're real messed up, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, is the mics on?
Mics are on.
Okay, good.
The mics are on, but no one's home.
Oh.
Okay, anyways. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. And on top of that, I don't think I mentioned it last week, but I've started actual therapy, not physical therapy, mental therapy. I've been seeing a therapist, and I'm
Like dating? Seeing a therapist?
no, I'm talking to a therapist
Ooh.
about the trauma that I've gone through as a kid that has manifested itself as an adult, and it's pretty good. I like it. I don't mind it, and I'm gonna keep going. So shout out to my therapist, whose name I can't say because it's a weird name. It's like Ixel, Axl Rose. I don't know how to say
Man
it.
or woman?
Woman.
Yeah, I found it easier to talk to men. I found it felt good to talk to women when I talked to them, but then a man seemed to understand what only another man can.
Yeah. Like what turns you on, what gets
Yeah,
you going, like the right spot to touch you in,
Wherever.
and then you responded immediately to this male therapist by punching it in the butt. Not sure why.
Not
you
then.
did that.
I was open to it then. It was a different time.
Good old fist to the butt. And yeah. So, anyways, that's
Yeah, no working punches like you pussy motherfuckers.
all right. Anything you want to talk about this past week? How you feeling?
Hey, we had the Winter Games for Special Olympics. I coached the cheerleading team to 4th place
Wow.
out of 3 teams. No, just kidding. 4th place out of 12 teams.
Yep.
And it was a good time. So proud of my kids. And then also, my son Colton's birthday is the 11th. So happy birthday, Colton. He's 15 now.
Wow.
Right?
Getting old.
Yeah.
Old man.
So that's all I want to talk about. I watched some wrestling. I didn't care for it. Almost all the wrestling this weekend, but that was AEW.
So we're going to talk about some of that over on patreon.com/Iron Wrestling. We're going to review AEW Revolution, and we're also going to cover a couple of the Wrestling All-Star magazines that I covered over on YouTube. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, you should be, because not only do you get the podcast there, but I've been doing videos over there, including from the pages of a wrestling magazine, which I'm trying to grow, so please check that out. So we're going to cover couple of the magazines from February and July of 1989 from Wrestling All-Stars, and some of the perverted ads and some of the articles from that magazine. So check it out, patreon.com/Iron Wrestling. $3 gets you in the door, $5 gets you video, $9 gets you involved in the Zoom chat that we do once a month, and you can go up and up and up in tiers, even get stuff in the mail from us. So check it out.
Well, I thumbed through a couple of these magazines of yours, and I really like the ads, especially the ones with the breastfeeding pumps.
There's no breastfeeding pumps. You actually keep playing them in the background on YouTube, though.
What? You're crazy.
Which is really questioning what your feed looks like and why it looks this way. Like you have breast pumping videos, women, just the bottom half of their body in leggings, vacuuming floors for 3 to 8 hours on loop. So I'm just really.
Well, at the beginning of the videos, it says it's not for sexual gratification.
Okay.
It's educational purposes.
Despite the fact that these women are pulling out both of their boobs for the breastfeeding pump. It seems unnecessary when you have one breastfeeding pump to pull out both boobs. But
yeah. Long story short, I have a friend at work who was talking to me about her daughter is having to get a breast milk pump or something because she just had a kid.
Yeah.
She said, I've been looking for these things, and now she needs a tutorial on it. It's really weird. And, of course, YouTube listens to everything. Our phones listen to everything.
Yeah.
And I woke up this morning to a bunch of these videos, and I couldn't believe it, dude. A whole ass titty out. 2 titties sometimes.
On YouTube. Yep.
Yeah.
No censorship. It's for educational purposes.
Yep. Sure is. I'm educated now.
I'm sure you are. Before we take our break, I do want to talk about one thing from the AEW show last night. I didn't watch it. I saw some clips, and I did particularly see this clip. Was Tony Schiavone doing an interview right before the main event. He was interviewing a couple of the young ladies who were starring in the Queen of the Ring film that's out now, also featuring people like Jim Cornette and
hey, Cornette looks fantastic right now.
He does.
Sorry, I got to say it. I know he's not a big fan of people that we're friends with, but
yeah, did he give this dog right here a bone? Looking at him?
Oh no, not yet.
All right.
He's wearing too much of a suit.
So they're interviewing the girls at ringside. One is one of the girls from Heels. She's also in the show Heels, and the other is a former model, now turned actress, named Damaris Lewis. And when asked what she learned from the movie set Queen of the Ring, here's what she had to say. Hold on, let me pull it up here.
Learned about pro wrestlers. thank you for teaching me that.
Okay.
And then you had a problem with that.
Yeah. During the show where, you know that wrestling's predetermined, but you're trying to suspend your disbelief. Yeah. Once again, no. This is why you should have like production meetings or discussions, maybe, Tony Khan. Let's make sure, hey, this announcer's going to come to you and ask you about the film. Like, what do you think you might say?
Yeah, that would be, something they could do. That would be an option.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, maybe she just meant, you're very confident in yourself. You know you're going to win before you win.
I don't think she meant that.
No, I don't either.
Trying to cover it up.
What are we doing, man? What? How come everything AEW does, it turns to shit? And I thought they could do no wrong at first, right? It seemed like that. Well, maybe in year 2 or something. It was really cool. And now everything they do is just not good.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like they're trying to take all of the constructive criticism from the internet and change anything. Not that the internet is always right, but I mean, numbers don't lie, and things keep going down. I've heard nothing but negative stuff about this AEW pay-per-view. I wanted to watch it, but I wasn't going to pay for it. And what'd you do? Watch it on Amazon Prime?
Is that what it was on?
Okay, well, must have been the AEW channel that you were watching it on.
Yeah.
We know how that works. So we will cover and see what Aaron thought about it overall. Was it positive? Was it negative? We'll find out somewhere in the middle. And when we come back from this commercial break, not only are we going to answer your questions at the end of the show from social media, but Patreon gets first dibs, of course. We are going to talk about the newest announcements for the WWE Hall of Fame. We're going to talk about that CM Punk promo from last week. And if we have time, if not, we might have to do it in a bonus. We're going to talk about WWE's list of top 30 heel turns in history and kind of dissect that when we come back on Iron on Wrestling. Hey, Aaron, if you're concerned about your health and well-being, I think you should, maybe look into some TNT Health.
Oh, I already did.
Did you?
Yeah, when my ACL and meniscus were torn.
Oh, yeah. Actually,
good friend, Mike.
Yeah,
over at TNT. Him and his people hooked me up.
Well, he reached out to me when he saw that I had an injury and was talking to me about some nasal spray that he was going to be sending, which would help with muscle recovery. And I do very much appreciate that. But, of course, I will forever love the vanilla protein that they have on their website, as well as the glutamine and the creatine. I'm a basic guy. I've got basic needs. Perhaps you're the same way, but maybe you need something that goes above and beyond the Call of Duty. Well, Mike and TNT-Health.com has something for everybody. We're talking pre-workout, post-workout, pro hormones, a wide variety of merchandise and workout accessories that you can get from the website. So it's definitely worth your time and free to look. But if you're going to buy anything, you'll save 10% off with promo code IRONON. That's IRONON. Because with TNT Health, Mike is going to track everything you're doing every step of the way. He reaches out to you. He helps you with your macros and your overall calories, and he wants to be you to be the best you. And if you want to be the best you, reach out to Mike. Reach out to TNT-Health.com. Check it out. Use our promo code, because at TNT Health, it's about your health today, not tomorrow. But today, I also want to talk about our good buddy, Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs, because, this dude has been in the game officially, we rounded up, but he's officially been in the game at this point now, 19 years doing artwork for all the big names in WWE, AEW, TNA, New Japan Pro Wrestling. His stuff's in video games. It's in Hot Topic. It's on action figures. I mean, is there anything that Juan and his team, which is just Juan, is there anything they can't do?
Not that I know of, man. He can do just about anything, and maybe he can do anything. He sent me a Penta mask a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Along with some cool Wu-Tang pins.
Yep.
You know what? That makes me think.
Mm-hmm.
The Wu-Tang Clan is going on one final tour this summer. They'll be coming to Columbus, which is a couple hours from us.
Hop, skip, and a jump.
Wu-Tang Clan will be headlining with Run the Jewels,
Okay.
and I love both of them. So I'm thinking maybe I should have Juan design something for me.
Does it involve fishing poles?
Yes.
In a cloud?
Yeah. How did you know all these things? Because Wu-Tang is long known as fishermen, and Run the Jewels are long known as
Heavenly men?
guys who use the cloud.
Well,
So this is going to be great.
Got to be careful with the cloud sometimes. You know, you
Yeah.
never know if it gets
Things
hacked.
leak.
And, things could leak out of the cloud. But got to be careful. Got to
I
be
hope
careful.
something leaks of mine.
But you got to be careful when you're dealing with Juan Ortiz because he can make anything for you. Logo for your big or small business, something for you, something for a friend, family member, whoever.
Something
you
for
have
Emily.
in your life, something for Emily, perhaps. So what are you waiting for? Find Juan on all of his social media platforms and on his website. You can find him at Of the Dead Designs on Instagram, Facebook.com/OfTheDeadDesigns, or go to his website. What is it again?
Oh, it's a Weebly.
It's definitely a Weebly.
www. That stands for the World Wide Web, but you could put a fourth W in there.
Of the Dead.
Weeblies.
Weebly.com because Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs is bringing artwork to life. That being said, hey, big news. Last week on the show, we talked about who we were sort of predicting could be in the Hall of Fame, but you know what? We got it all wrong.
We
got it all wrong. Yeah,
What
yeah.
happened?
None of the predictions that we had came true. Crazy that that was the case. You know. I can admit when I'm wrong. I don't know if you can. So.
Yeah, I can be wrong. I thought for sure that the natural disasters would go in, as I stated last week, and Lex Luger would go in because he's walking with DDP.
Oh.
So
You said that?
it's like Elias, yeah.
You said that?
Yeah, you don't remember? Oh, your brain trauma. Plus the bump you took over the top rope. How did you ever see the movie Friday?
Yes.
How you get fired on your day off? How'd you get injured and you won wrestling a match?
We already talked about this, okay? Anyways, yes, you got it right. Okay, you got it right. You happy? Lex
Well, you don't
Luger.
have to rub it in.
Lex Luger, the total package, made in the USA. And Earthquake and Typhoon are going to the Hall of Fame. We are not getting Demolition. I just feel it's weird that you both, I guess I would have thought that it would be Tugboat and Earthquake separately. But I guess when you talk about, the iconic character, I guess Typhoon was around much longer and was probably more known as, one half of the natural disasters with Earthquake than being Tugboat. So I guess it makes sense.
His turn sucked, though. We talked about some of the best turns.
Yeah, it was a terrible turn.
He turned against the Bushwhackers,
Yeah.
not against Hogan.
Right. It made no sense.
Yeah. And how many times tag team champions were the natural disasters? 2?
I want to say 2 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know if that qualifies them for Hall of Fame. I know Earthquake
What?
should be in there. I don't know if Tugboat should be in there.
Listen, there's lesser names in the Hall of Fame. I think together as a tag team, I think makes much more sense. And you can, you can cover their individual accolades leading up to them becoming a tag team and, how they had their greatest success at that point together. I mean, so listen, Earthquake was definitely a top guy from the moment he came in. He did the gimmick with, what was it? Was it with Dino Bravo in the ring?
Push-ups.
Push-up thing, and, he beat up that guy. It was all a big swerve.
Ultimate Warrior.
What was his name? Big John. They call him in the ring.
Yeah.
It's Big John. Just a fan. Big John.
We're in West Virginia. Who's out there? Oh, Big John. Come on.
Yep. And so, immediately was put in a main event program with Hulk Hogan, which culminated after he attacked Hogan on an episode of the Brother Love Show, which led to the one of the more iconic early wrestling tribute packages, which was the Hulk Hogan instrumental full orchestra song for his dramatic return at SummerSlam 1990 in one of the main event matches, Earthquake versus Hulk Hogan. After that, Earthquake was still near or around the main event. He did the deal with Jake Roberts. Ended up ending the life of Damien. Made those Quake burgers for all to eat.
You know what? They should have a wing for the pets that have passed on.
Think so? I mean,
Matilda,
Sure.
Winston,
Yeah.
Damien,
Coco Beware's
Frankie,
bird, Frankie, burned in a fire. Jeez, I mean, what? That's
Matt Hardy's dog, or Jeff Hardy's dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've lost a lot of great
Stephanie
ones.
McMahon and Triple H's dog that was run over by that car.
Jericho,
Yeah, that's very sad.
Dirty Rotter.
What animals are we forgetting? There seems like there should be a
There's got
lot
to be more. Yeah,
I mean,
but we don't have time to go
I
through
got
it
to
all.
imagine at this point, Lucifer and Revelations are gone.
They gotta be gone,
There's
yeah.
no way they're still kicking, right?
I don't know. They're serpents.
What about that crocodile that was with?
Outback Jack?
No, or a kimono dragon. Ricky Steamboat had, right?
Yep.
Is it a crocodile or an alligator? Because it's not a dragon.
It's a dragon.
It's not a dragon.
Yeah, dragon needs nuts across your chin.
Okay, that's unnecessary.
There was also a crocodile with Steve Kern, right? Or a gator. He wrestled gators.
Yeah, but he
But
never
he didn't bring it to the
yeah,
ring.
he didn't come to the ring.
True.
with a gator. Come on.
True that.
Hey, when you think about the natural disasters, is there like a standout moment of them for you? And did you like them better as baby faces or heels?
Oh, heels. But I don't know. They didn't do much for me.
You know what? I think I liked them better as baby faces, honestly. Yeah. I think
It just Earthquake as a babyface doesn't sit well with me.
I don't know.
Do you think that Tugboat should go in as Tugboat,
I don't think
Typhoon, or the Shockmaster?
I don't think he's getting another induction, so I think we're just gonna have to stick with him as Typhoon.
But they're going to show him as the Shockmaster falling, right?
Maybe. I mean, I think they'll definitely show pre-natural disasters because I think it'll build up to like how they became their best together as a tag team, right? Yeah. And it sucks that Tenta's not around for this. I think this is a long time coming for John Tenta, and very happy for Typhoon as well. Looking forward to this induction. When I think about them, I think about their match at WrestleMania 8 with Money Inc. That's what comes to mind for me. And very happy that they're going in. But I'm even happier, as much as I love me some John Tenta, that Lex Luger is finally going into the Hall of Fame. They surprised Lex back at the end of February. We're just now seeing it, of course, as they're announcing the induction, as Lex Luger has been working out with DDP, as you stated last week, and they're trying to get him to stand and potentially walk again after being mostly paralyzed for the last 20 years. And they're making progress, and Cody Rhodes, WWE Champion, shows up at the house, and he is the one that gets to tell Lex Luger that he is being inducted in the Hall of Fame. And you could tell Lex was getting a little bit emotional. And also, listen, I don't know. I don't know.
I think Cody might have been too.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was a big WCW guy. I mean,
Yeah.
growing up with Dusty, he's
And
around all these guys all the
Atlanta.
time. Yep. And look, man, I had to fight emotions watching the video because, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. He was the first wrestler I ever met, and I will always have a soft spot for Lex Luger. And a lot of great childhood memories watching Lex, and just seeing the positive human that he has become despite his situation is super inspiring. And I'm pumped that he's finally getting his due, and especially when for a long time I think people question whether this would ever happen because of the situation with Liz. But and you know what, I don't know if it would be happening if Vince was still around, to be honest, but it's going down.
It's well deserved, I think. I mean, I just watched Luger defeating Hogan for the championship.
Crazy.
Right?
Crazy.
That crowd goes nuts. And Luger's reaction is the same reaction when he slammed Yokozuna.
Yeah.
Which was, you were talking about iconic moments.
Mhm.
That's an iconic moment right there.
Yeah.
And you also said that you thought that the Iconics should be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
I didn't say that.
Isn't that who you said last week? You
No.
said you thought the Iconics
I never said that.
and Aldo Montoya or somebody, right?
No, that's not true at all. But you know what? You talk about that moment in '97, him winning the WCW title, even though it didn't last. What a fucking pop that was when Luger wins the belt in the same venue that he beats Yokozuna by DQ. So it was kind of a redemption story,
Yeah.
when you really think about it. And a little side note about that moment, they just released a Lex Luger Ultimate Edition action figure from that particular Nitro. So that would have been the 100th episode of Nitro. And what I like about it is it comes with a couple swappable heads for Lex Luger, but also the NWO belt and a clean WCW belt and a red rag. Because if you wait until after the match, the Giant's in the back like wiping the belt with a red rag.
Yep.
So you get the red rag. So if you want to take pictures of Luger like wiping the NWO spray paint off of the belt, you could do that. It's those little details that make these figures so cool. And yeah, I don't know. I so many great Lex Luger memories. You couldn't have done that 94 Royal Rumble finish any better unless you accidentally fell out of the ring in 2005 and you were John Cena and Batista. That's about as close as you're going to get. So maybe 2 times in a lifetime. But the Lex Express, of course, body slamming Yokozuna. His debut as a narcissist for me as a kid was a crazy moment. Bobby Heenan with his sort of romantic promo talking about how much he loved Lex's rippling muscles. I even going so far back as his stupid little promo on WrestleMania 8. That was my first introduction to Lex Luger, with him being just a WBF bodybuilder. Because again, I wasn't a WCW kid yet, so I didn't know. Right? Isn't that weird to think about? That's the first time I see Luger with him like drinking a shake with some random lady. What when it comes to early WCW memories, what do you think about with Luger that you loved?
I loved his musics.
Yes, good
and
music.
I thought his I will take a page from Bobby Heenan, as I have many times in my life. His rippling muscles, dude, he looked so good. He's the superhero.
Yeah.
He did a lot of turns. His clothesline, well, when you look back, you go, nah, it was kind of shit.
Yeah.
It was so good for me back then.
I think Luger is a better worker than he's given credit for, honestly.
The name of his finish, the Human Torture Rack, I thought that was sweet.
I wish he would have done it in the WWF.
Yeah, he did the forearm, right?
Just the forearm, because he was in the motorcycle accident, so he had like the bionic arm and all that stuff. But, man, good on Lex Luger. Can't wait to see his induction. And you know what, man? I cannot wait to hear the pop and feel the emotion when this motherfucker at the very least stands up on the podium.
Yep.
Oh,
I was just thinking that.
Dude, it's going to be so cool, man. I just got shivers down my spine, man. Like, it's going to be great.
No manufactured bullshit like The Rock.
Yo, let's talk about that real quick before we do the questions. We were recording when it was happening last week. That Punk promo last week, talking about Dwayne and his fake goosebumps. Was that the best CM Punk promo since he came back?
Yes. Well, yes, I guess. He's been firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Punk's been nailing every promo. So every time, like, I can't wait to hear what his next promo is, because each one seems like it's better than the previous one I heard.
Do you remember when he came back at first and, like, he cut the promo about, like, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. And it felt like for the first few weeks, people were like, Punk lost it. Yeah, these promos are like that first promo back. Like, I guess like people felt like they needed more. Like, when are we gonna get CM Punk? We got fucking CM Punk, and he's middle-aged and crazy now, apparently, like Terry Funk. He says, "Listen up, Dwayne, you bald fraud. You think because you're on the board of directors you're immune from criticism. Well, you don't know who you're dealing with. You're dealing with the best in the world, middle-aged and crazy. I walked back into the WWE after 10 years and literally marched through hell to receive opportunities at the big dance. And you, Mr. Midlife Crisis, just decide to walk in when you feel like it and hide behind the fact that you think you're a bigger star than everybody here. I would love to say all of this to your face, but you have not graced us with your presence to do your bullshit." And he starts tapping his arms about the goosebumps. To hit your arm to pretend that you care about this business that gives you goosebumps. There was some more to it, but man, you fucking talk about realism. He starts talking about John Cena. "I've never been so desperate to sell my soul, and that brings me to you, John Cena. Well, now we can all see through you. You stole something from me in the Elimination Chamber, a match that after 20 years of hustle, loyalty, and respect, I gave you the benefit of the doubt when you didn't qualify. I thought what you did in the past secured your future, but you're not going to fool me twice. Now everybody sees what I've known all along, that you've been selling all these people and all these kids bullshit. Here's the thing. I think we've talked about in the past how like AEW has sort of abused the word shit.
Yeah.
I think it worked perfect here because like the promo looked different and it felt so real that like not just one but two bullshits, it just fit and it didn't take away from everything. And to go back to your point you made last week, it's like, how corny is it when guys are just like, kick your butt, you know? I'm tired of your bull crap. Like it's like, yo, bullshit worked in the situation.
It's just like the pile driver situation.
Yeah.
The pile drivers work in the WWE because they're not overdoing it. Over in AEW, they're doing 6 pile drivers a match. Sometimes flipping pile drivers and pile drivers onto stairs.
Didn't we just get a last night on the show a tombstone off the apron through a chair from MJF to Hangman?
Yeah.
It wasn't the finish?
Nope.
Okay.
So I don't know why we can't just make things last. And, these pile drivers nowadays in WWE, as soon as you see somebody setting up for one. And now Orton brought back the punt, which nobody can wait for. You know, we all want to see that punt at WrestleMania.
It's going to be great. Let's talk about 30.
So Owens is going to win, right? At Mania, and then Orton still gets, the punt after the match or something? Or do you think the punt is the finish? Or do you think we should table this discussion for another time?
Yeah, let's table it.
Okay.
Because I can go either way. But
yeah, that's what I heard.
Okay. Real quick, let's run through your WWE ranking top 30 heel turns in history. Did you see this?
Yeah. I saw the top 5 of them. I wasn't impressed.
Let's go from bottom to top and see.
You're going to do all 30?
I'm just going to run through them real quick. And then see if we would change anything. 30, Kevin Owens betrays Sami Zayn. 29, Shinsuke Nakamura turns on AJ Styles at WrestleMania 34. I don't even know if that would have hit my radar, honestly, that one. 28, Tatanka sells out. 27, Finn Balor attacks Johnny Gargano. 26, Bayley attacks Becky Lynch. 25, Mark Henry fakes retires to turn on John Cena. I feel like that should be ranked higher, honestly. 24, Lita betrays Kane to join Edge. 23, Sami Zayn saves Kevin Owens at Hell in a Cell. 22, Ric Flair turns on Sting. Are they referring to the one that in 95 or the one before that? In
it had to be before
90?
that, when the Horsemen beat down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, hold on, because there's been several that Kevin Owens has turned against Sami Zayn. The Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano one, I don't remember at all.
I remember.
And Johnny's a friend, so
I think that was like the brain buster on the stage or something that he ends up giving him.
Finn Balor?
Yes.
Tomasso, I remember turning on Johnny.
This is in
that
NXT,
was great.
Yeah.
There was somebody else I was just thinking. You know how crazy of a time we live in right now that people aren't even talking about the New Day turn anymore? And that was like the best turn I had seen in years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot happening. But I feel like they're it's a slow burn. I think there's something bigger to come for New Day. I feel like they've been doing just enough. You know what I mean? Like they're always in promos and stuff. I just feel like they haven't been getting a lot of match time to really show this new aggression, and I think we're going to get back to it sooner rather than later. 21, Tomasso Ciampa turns on Johnny Gargano. That's probably one of the better turns ever. We didn't even mention that when we talked about it last week. Like that was the start of something different with the bug coming up in the corner of the screen. You think the show is over.
Yeah.
And then the turn happens. And now it's like, oh, God, I got to watch this show to the very end or else I'm going to miss something. You can't the match just can't end and you shut it off. And like, you're okay. Like, you got to stick around. It's like it's like a Marvel thing. Matt Hardy turns on Jeff Hardy. 19, CM Punk attacks The Rock on Raw 1000. Scott Steiner joins the NWO at 18. Trish Stratus turns on Chris Jericho. I feel like that should not be as high because at the time it was like a big moment, I feel like, but
I don't know if I put it as high, but I remember I really liked it.
Well, yeah, she aligns with Christian. But, I think it should rank lower at this point. Eddie Guerrero turns on Rey Mysterio. Yeah, that was good. That was good. That leads us to getting the biggest WWE star of all time on TV, Dominic Mysterio. Mega Powers Explode, only at 15. I think when you talk about iconic turns, that's top 10. I don't know how that's only hitting 15.
What was it again?
Mega Powers Exploding.
Oh, yeah.
14, Bob Backlund snaps on Bret Hart. I mean, that can't be bigger than the Mega Powers. Get out of here. Shane McMahon turns on The Miz. Definitely not bigger than the Mega Powers. Paul Bearer turns on The Undertaker. That might be top 10. When you talk about history, you know what I mean? Batista turns on Rey Mysterio, the iconic, you're supposed to be my friend. And then it sounds like Rey Mysterio saying, I'll pay you, but he's saying, I beg you. Number 10, Triple H attacks Bryan, leading to Randy Orton cashing in Money in the Bank at SummerSlam. Now, some people are going like, well, how come they don't got Evolution turning on Randy Orton? Well, dumbasses, they were already heels. So they couldn't turn heel again. It's not a heel turn. They just turned on their guy. Number 9, Nikki Bella turns on Brie Bella. How about we put that like maybe 30? Because that's not in the top 10. Jimmy Uso turns on Jey Uso. I feel like at this point, we're only getting these more recent ones because they're more recent and relevant to what's happening currently on WWE TV. Because Jimmy and Jey Uso... sad. I don't know if I right now would rank it top 10.
It led to a terrible match.
Yeah, that match was not good. Number 7, Becky Lynch turns on Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam. It was a big deal when it happened, but no one wanted to boo Becky. I mean, it's just like a weird thing to do. Xavier and Kofi turn on Big E. You know what? I would put that in top 10 right now because it was very, very well done. Dominic turns on his father, Rey Mysterio. I don't know if I would put that higher than even Xavier and Kofi.
No.
I don't know if I'd put it top 10.
No,
but
and plus it was expected, I think.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd put it top 10, but maybe top 20. Shawn Michaels turns on Marty Jannetty at number 4. Seth Rollins turns on the Shield. I think I would flip-flop that, but I think they put the Seth Rollins Shield thing higher only because the long-term impact of it and how they keep coming back to it even years later. I can see why they would try to rank it at 3. And then they try to get controversial, and they go, of course, Hogan and the NWO at number 2, and then John Cena turning on Cody Rhodes at number 1.
You never mentioned Hogan and Andre?
It's not on this list. People were complaining about that. So the two things that people talk about that are not on this list, we don't have Hogan and Andre, and we do not have Austin
and Rock
and aligning with McMahon.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And also, you mentioned that last week. Listen, even though it was a couple months, I think the Rock turn in '98 to join the corporation was a big deal. It was a big swerve. Yeah. Everybody thought it was Mankind. It was a very well booked angle. So
I think that's what would be on Russo's mantle of the greatest things he's done in the sport was booking that out.
Yeah. Kind of crazy that.
Dude, I liked Big Boss Man turning against $1 Million Man and giving the bag back to Jake.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a babyface turn, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're talking heel turns here.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're saying Boss Man, though, that one night in '98 where he pretended that he was going to turn babyface against the corporation and came out to his old theme and got a huge pop, and then he just ran out and turned heel again. So I mean, that was great, good stuff. You know what? I mean, it made no sense, but I'm surprised Vince being revealed as a higher power wasn't ranked as a one of the top 30 heel turns. Even I would say bottom, it would be the bottom 30 for sure. But come on, as far as an iconic moment, it's me, Austin, it's me all along. Made no sense, but memorable nonetheless. What about that Lynn McMahon heel turn? Didn't even make the cut.
Anything with Linda McMahon,
where she kicked JR in the dick.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't talk about it last month. You're going to say
Undertaker and JR.
Last week we meant to talk about it when we were talking about shocking heel turns. Didn't make this list. Undertaker turning on Jim Ross in December 2001. That was not only shocking, it was weird. I remember watching that by myself live as it's happening. And if you don't remember this turn, it's because A, it kind of came out of nowhere. And B, the way it went down, it was like, are they allowed to be showing this on TV? So, as a refresher, and you could tell me how you felt about it. Did you watch it live when it happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure did.
You could tell me how you felt in a second. So, Vince wants JR to join the Kiss My Ass Club. La-da-da-da-da. JR refuses to do it. Undertaker comes out. Big baby face. American badass. Think he's going to save the day. And basically questions JR. Says, you're not going to kiss this man's ass? Hell no, I'm not going to kiss his ass. And then he goes, so you think you're better than me?
Yeah.
And it became like, I've been kissing Vince McMahon's ass for years and blah, blah, blah. And so, while wearing JR's cowboy hat, Vince, complete ass out, Undertaker shoves JR's face into Vince's ass. And then Vince begins to gallop around the ring and smack his own ass while wearing JR's cowboy hat. And again, he's not wearing a thong. Later, he would wear a thong because probably after this segment, USA was like, Vince, yo, what the fuck, dude?
It's your whole asshole out.
Yeah, we know it was after 11 for the overrun, but your whole entire ass cheeks were out, plain as day. It was so strange. Your thoughts about the Undertaker, Vince, JR, Kiss My Ass Club heel turn segment?
I'd like to. You're better than me. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to lead to an Undertaker versus JR match, or I at least hoped it wasn't going to.
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
No,
Jim Ross beat the streak.
No, they would have done it in Oklahoma. Come on. And then Undertaker would have beat his ass. Come on. Well, actually, that was in Oklahoma that they did the segment, which, go figure.
Yeah.
Fun
Okay,
times.
but yeah, it was good. One of the best.
To end the show, let's answer some of your questions from social media. But, of course, as always, Patreon members get first and foremost. Josh Excellence comes in hot with DIY. Why? That is a Hardcore Holly question.
DIY why?
DIY why? If you know, you know. Who else? Eric Phillips says, any cool road stories about Virgil's huge hog? You know what? This isn't the first week Eric has asked this, and I'm beginning to think he has an obsession with Virgil's penis. No, I don't have any cool road stories about Virgil's huge hog, even though he was my manager on a few occasions. And by all accounts, he did have a decently sized pecker, but I am not a pecker checker.
What was that lady's name? Dawn Decadence?
Decadence, yeah.
Yeah. I think we should have her on the show. We'll ask her.
Eric also asked, where would of Rock put Cody's soul in? A cookie jar? A pickle jar? I know from personal experience that souls go directly into a jar of jelly. I know this because I sold my soul via a jar of jelly. So that's the only thing that logically makes sense. And Eric followed that up by saying, do you think selling your soul could work for an independent wrestler? Here's the question. Who's buying the soul? Because then that really depends on if it works out for an independent wrestler. And I can't even venture a guess as to who would be the person who's like, you know what? Yeah, that would be worth selling my soul for success in independent Traxler from Mega?
Yeah. What if he offers to buy your soul?
I don't know if he would offer to buy soul or he would offer to maybe give you a bunch of discounted action figures maybe.
Yeah. What about Brandon X? Could he buy your soul?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, listen, they've been drawing some hot crowds in Mega, so maybe.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, would it be worth it for you to sell? Well, you've already sold your soul.
This is interesting. Are you on Patreon? Does it count if I ask your question? Because your question from Aaron Simmons Bauer says, when will you quit wrestling?
Oh. Let's hear it.
Well, I'll be honest.
Hopefully it's soon.
I'm trying to be optimistic, but I'm pretty depressed thinking that I might have to have surgery. And my mind today, since you want to bring the mood down, I was like, boy, if I have to get my arm cut into and I can't move it for 2 months, I don't know if I want to wrestle again.
All right. So that sounds good. I hope you retire soon. You got to give this up.
What did you call me?
I called you retired.
There's a lot of questions from Eric. So
But that's only because of your disability.
Okay, I'm going to start ignoring Eric here. Ed says, what's your favorite pizza? Mom and pop and chain. I would say come on.
Does this guy never listened to the show before?
We all know my favorite pizza is Little Caesars, okay? But I will say
pretzel crust, right? Is it a stuffed?
Stuffed pretzel crust specifically, but right now I'm okay with the stuffed crust pizza. But I will say this. I like a good Primo's pizza, okay? And
is that chain? What's Primo's?
Primo's is a local.
Is it mom and pop?
Yeah, they got maybe 3 or 4 locations.
Okay.
Primo's is very, very good. When I was dating Nicole, we would get Primo's often. And I stopped getting Primo's because they stopped having stuffed crust because it's hard to find those mom and pops with stuffed crust pizza. But they still have a very good pizza, which I highly recommend. I think it's going to be my new personal favorite, Ohio Pie. They're opening actually one in Parma. So
I've been hearing good things about them.
Dude, not only are the pizzas good, but their cookies are good. They have some of the best cookies I've ever had in my goddamn life. So if you are in the area, Ohio Pie is the way to go. For you, Aaron, favorite pizza, mom and pop, and chain?
Mom and pop all time was Granny D's. That was a little shop in Lorraine. And then the owner one night got murdered.
Oh.
So they put an end to that.
Yikes.
Yeah. He was closing up shop. Somebody came in, took the $64 that was in the register, and murdered the man.
Well, I heard it was a little bit more than that.
I don't know if it was $5 more, maybe.
Oh boy, it's not like joking about a man's murder. Okay. Did you pick your chain?
Oh, I'm gonna go Papa John's right now.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as chains,
Because you support the actions of former owner Papa John, is that why?
Shaq?
No, the guy before him.
Oh,
John.
Oh,
himself.
John?
Yeah, I heard you're a big fan of John.
I like
Is that
John
true?
Gargano.
Oh yeah, he's Papa
And
John.
their pizza was good. Mom and Pop's place.
Yeah, Gargano's Pizza. That's great.
So,
Jason Amos, I want to know if maybe you actually have an answer to this. I used to watch all the time, but I can't remember one episode. He said, "What was your favorite episode of Barney Miller?" I used to have to watch it all the time in reruns because my dad would watch
fuck
it.
that show.
What? Whoa! I didn't think
I hated the music.
Really?
And that just set the tone for me. I hated how everybody looked. Anything. I think that was probably a Channel 8 show.
Yeah,
a
sounds about
CBS.
right.
And I didn't like the way their cameras were set. And it always looked dingy. Yeah, so F that. F Barney Miller. And what was the other? MASH? I hated that one too. I hate the song.
Yeah, still like the highest rated ending to a show ever,
Whatever,
though.
man.
But TV was different back then. Eric Van Dyke asks, have you tried Botox on your arm? Any thoughts on Botox as a treatment for CP tightness? My daughter is currently going through treatment. They want to try casting since the results weren't as good as hoped. So listen, Botox was suggested to me back when I was younger. It was something that I was going to go back to try, but I got cold feet and I didn't go for whatever reason. In retrospect, I don't know if it would have done much for me because while I do have tightness in my right arm and in my right leg, it's not tight to where it actually hurts me. Everything that I've heard about Botox treatment for people with CP and talking to people with CP that have had it done is I hear nothing but good things and that it helps them and it sort of relieves a little bit of the tension and I don't know. I would suggest that you at least give it a shot. I mean, it's not a permanent thing. It's not like, the other thing that was suggested to me around that time was getting my wrist fused. And it was going to be a cosmetic thing, and that would have limited mobility. So I got to imagine that it would be nothing but a help. And if it's something that she doesn't like, you don't got to go back and do it again. So I hope that helps with you.
Hey, I wanted to ask you something, and I want to ask this while you're taking this question. You ever heard of, or maybe our guy Mike could help us out with this, methylene blue?
It sounds illegal.
Okay.
It's
not. No, it's a supplement, but
you make that in like a trailer or something?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Why is it purposely named like meth in Breaking Bad? I like that already. Methylene blue?
Yeah.
The blue meth?
Oh, okay.
Is that coincidental that it's named that?
It's named that because that's what the compound is.
Okay.
So the blue is like a dye,
And
the methylene is like a salt. But
I don't want to get assaulted. Just help me out here.
So
Did you watch Breaking Bad?
no,
What the fuck?
I watched maybe a half a season, and then I think I lost my account or whatever it was.
Wow, you're missing out on maybe the greatest show of all time.
I lived it, motherfucker.
You did not live Breaking Bad.
I lived a lot of drugs that I don't want to watch any TV shows on.
All right, that's fine. Oh, I'm
You're
Aaron. I have
always trying to get me addicted to
PTSD.
something.
No, I'm not.
It's yeah. So I don't know. We need to find out about this stuff, though.
All
I
right.
think it could help you in your arm,
Maybe. We'll see.
maybe your brain,
The left one or the right one?
both.
Balthazar Nikovic says, how do you feel about the Costco guys being more involved than AEW? More so Big Justice, a child, doing a powerbomb to Mansoor. The dad just doesn't look like he belongs with the rest. Does it drive you bonkers, or are you coming around to them? Listen, I think the Costco guys as an entity on social media, there's a lot of people on social media that I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't know why I would invest time in this. Maybe if I was a child, sure. Maybe I would be interested in some guy who talks in a goofy voice about chocolate chip cookies. But I'm not interested in that at all. The Rizzler is mildly entertaining because he's a small, fat child who has a pose. He is a small, fat child. I'm not saying anything negative about him. To describe him, he would be a small, fat child. As far as his kid doing a powerbomb, look, it's not like he picked him up and down for the powerbomb. He came in underneath and powerbombed him. You could argue that he was at a disadvantage being in a situation where he's on the second rope. He wasn't expecting someone to come underneath him, pull him down. And to be fair, listen, if you go back and watch that, Big Justice was just about as tall as Bryce Remsburg, to be fair. And Bryce Remsburg is about my height, maybe an inch or two taller. So, and I've powerbombed people from the while they were standing on the second rope. And also, I have one hand. So perhaps maybe I'm not defending the kid.
Not even anymore.
I'm not defending the kid, but,
You're a huge fan. Now.
I think if there was a over child in the crowd with celebrity status at an indie show, and I came up with the idea that, hey, you know what would be funny? If this kid runs in the ring and just power bombs so-and-so, I think it's something I would have done. Listen, there was a point in time where different age gap, but we almost did a tag match with me and Alex Daniels versus M-Dog and M-Dog's grandma, who attacked me in the crowd and got one of the biggest pops of all time at an AIW show. So, and she was like 80-some years old at the time. All she was going to do was get a hot tag. That would have been over, brother, okay? It's about entertainment, and I do think that it's one of the smarter decisions that Tony Khan has done by having these guys on TV because they are more over than most of the AEW roster. And also, the majority of their matches are fairly simplistic. So I don't think Taz just likes anybody coming to the ring and doing professional wrestling maneuvers. You see when did you hear his comments when those two dudes, one of which was from Workaholics, came in and did that double choke slam?
Yeah.
Everybody could be a wrestler.
Yep.
He said it's so bitter.
Yep. That was my favorite part of the show. Also, with AEW, we see that WWE just used, who's the rapper? Travis Scott.
Yeah.
And then I watched...
What they have, like a guy named like Little Biscuit or something? What's
Big
his name?
Gravy, I
Big
think.
Gravy. I said Little Biscuit. Big Gravy. I was close.
Although both of them sound delicious to me. I wish they would combine forces.
Little Biscuit and Big Gravy could be the tag team that we never do.
Biscuits and gravy!
Oh, yeah. Maybe a man.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, boy. Raw's on in the background, and
guy
Grayson
just-
Waller just took the same bump that I tore my arm on, so
Yeah.
it makes me feel like shit. Okay. Yeah, so what were you going to say about the rapper guy?
It just... Yeah. You get Travis Scott, who has all these number ones and is one of the most popular rappers in the world. And then there was Big Gravy was on the other show.
Yeah, well, whatever. Maybe there's something we don't know about Big Gravy because, there's a lot of people online, like guys around our age, going like, I don't know who Travis Scott is, but he's got like what, 60 million followers on Instagram alone.
He had
so
his
it's
own
like,
McDonald's meal in 2020.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it's not made for us.
You all right?
Yeah, that's my stomach. I'm not farting. That is my stomach right now. Steve Rivera says, how many vehicles have you owned since you shared the ring with CM Punk in 2011? Since that moment, I've had, let me think here. The vehicle at the time that I was driving was still being paid off at JD Byrider. It took a shit in November of 2011. I remember that specifically because it was while I was driving to New York City to be on Fox News, and it was the day before I was supposed to wrestle for the first time at ECW Arena. So then my dad hooked up a situation through someone where I paid $500 for a car that was actually running quite well, but less than a year later, while driving in the rain to Detroit, I crashed it into it spun out as I switched lanes going the speed limit. I was going 70 miles an hour. Probably should have slowed down a little bit, I guess, in the rain, but nonetheless, it spun out. I hit a wall, and so then I got another car. Which car was after that? I want to say that I've had 5 or 6 cars in the last 14 years. So, that's pretty bad. And honestly, like, the one that I have now, when I got it, had 27,000 miles. 5 years removed, we're at about 170 now. And if I wasn't a wrestler, I would probably have this car for a long, long time because I've had no severe problems with it. But once you get up into the 200,000 mile area, your car's it's at the end of the life cycle. It's not good. So you're on borrowed time. Not looking forward to getting another new car, but we'll see what happens. Juan Ortiz says, "What is the worst movie you wasted your money seeing in theaters?" This is a no-brainer. It would be probably the only movie I ever walked out of a theater for, or during rather. Jack and Jill. I went on a date with a girl to see Jack and Jill starring Adam Sandler, and I didn't even stay for the end. And the sad part is the only good part of that movie involves Al Pacino at the end. But that movie itself, like, I knew going into it, I'm like, why is this even a movie? This can't possibly be good. I left the theater. Terrible. What about you? Worst movie you've ever wasted your money on seeing in theaters?
I remember hating some movie with Matthew Perry and Selma Hayek, I think.
Oh.
Fools Rush In, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember hating that for some reason when I went to the theater. I've never watched it since then, so I don't know. Maybe I'd watch it again. And
Matthew
was good.
Perry's not even here to defend himself. Oh. And you're going to come shit on him like that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, don't make a shitty movie. Adam Sandler's not here to defend himself.
Did you see the official date for Happy Gilmore 2 is, like, I think July 25th on Netflix?
Oh, yeah?
Right around the corner. We got to have a watch party.
Yeah.
Me and you.
Okay.
Together.
I'm
the
going to
covers.
punch you with your watch that your dad hawked for you to get you through your acting classes.
Tim Ash says, who would win a twerk off, you or Mia Yim? I'm going to say Mia.
Yeah.
I had to give that like 1 second of thought, but yeah.
Why,
Mia.
yeah, why would you even be in
Is Tim Ash trying to like he's going to DM me, like, send me a video of your twerk and I could compare?
Yeah. Well, hopefully. And then hopefully he sends you a check with it or a PayPal or something.
Ken Birch says, there was a bit of blood on a recent AEW show. I recorded this touching moment that made these kids' day when Connor Claxton signed their poster in his blood. He attached the video. What do you think of people signing a poster in blood, and what is the worst blood loss you've seen? I mean, I don't know if on an indie show you should have a guy like signing his stuff in blood. I mean, I'd be a little paranoid about that with my child. But, like, some people might find it weird. Like when I tell people that I sold gear that I bled all over, and they're like, well, you washed it, right? I'm like, no, that's what makes it valuable, is that it's covered in my blood. And they're like, ew. Literally, I've gone to a Jerry Lawler, Jim Ross thing where they did their a live show, and Jerry Lawler talked about how he had his note sheet from WrestleMania 13 to this day, and it's covered in a little bit of Steve Austin's blood from that match. And I immediately thought to myself, damn, if that was for sale, I would try to buy it and I would frame it because it has Austin's blood on it. And so, like, you know, if it's someone of meaning to you, then like, yeah, I think it's cool to have the blood, and you know, hopefully they don't have like AIDS or something, you know.
Yeah, but that stuff dies when it's out of the body,
Sure.
and oxygen hits it. So
Yeah.
whatever.
How did you feel? Would you have wanted? That being said, if you would have bought your Magic Johnson shoes, would you wanted that with a little bit of his
Of
blood?
Johnson's blood
Yeah.
from his Johnson?
Yeah, or any part of his body, really. Would you want that on your shoes, AIDS boy?
Yeah, I don't think so.
What?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't want anybody's blood ever.
Did you like when the kids called you AIDS boy?
It was all right. I just was thinking about that the other day.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think it was Thursday at work. I remember I was thinking about the kids calling me AIDS boy.
Someone yelled, "We need an adult aid to the bathroom,"
Yeah.
and then you had a flashback.
And I was like, I'm AIDS boy.
Worst blood loss I've ever seen. If we're talking on a show, and it wasn't from my face, but I've bled pretty bad at times, I'm gonna. Jeez, I've seen Atticus Cogar in some pretty bloody situations, and I can't remember like the specific matches, but that dude can bleed, and he's anemic. So I don't know how the fuck he's bleeding like that, and also it's probably not healthy for him. Is there a particular blade job, blood incident that you've witnessed on a show, Aaron, that stands out
In
to you?
person?
In person, yes.
Anytime Jack bled, New Jack.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was like a faucet.
Did Hito ever blade? Was he a big blade guy?
Yeah.
Did he get good color?
Oh, the best was when Hito and I would go to the bar.
Yeah.
And he would have to wear, like, he would get napkins and he would fold them up and then tape to his forehead because randomly his head would just start bleeding.
For no reason.
Yeah. And so he would have to wear that. And otherwise he'd just start bleeding out of nowhere, drinking alcohol.
Jesus. R.I.P. Hito.
And New Jack.
And New Jack. Dave, did you see he's going to be in the for the first time
2K.
ever 2K video game? What? the
Yeah,
fuck?
it comes out the same day as Penta.
How do you think Jack would feel about that?
I think he would want to be paid for it.
Yeah, that's what my thought too. It's like, I don't give a motherfucker.
whether it was 8-ball or cash money.
And Vince McMahon, you can suck my fucking dick, motherfucker. Is there? Dave McCormick says, if there is a 2CW reunion show, will you be involved, health permitting? I hope so.
What's that?
So 2CW was one of the more prominent promotions that ran in upstate New York for years and years and years. And I started coming into 2CW on the tail end. There was something very special about 2CW. In fact, the last show for 2CW was one of the last independent dates for AJ Styles. In the opening match, I want to say it was like the Bullet Club. So AJ, Carl, and Gallows versus maybe the Bucks, Pepper Parks. I know Pepper Parks was on the opposing team because that would be the Blade from AEW now, because him and Carl came up in HWA, so they were boys. Yeah, man, 2CW was great, and I miss it. I had some great matches at 2CW, and I did see that there were some rumors that maybe they're bringing it back, and so if that were to happen, I would absolutely love to be a part of it. Try to get one or two more questions, and we'll wrap it up here. Casey Drischler says, kind of a follow-up, as I was wondering after the short chat we had on Saturday, but do you remember WCW wrestling on the NAS? Loved hitting my brother with that yellow wrench. You know what? I don't know if I played it that much. I do remember the cover had the Road Warriors on it. I think it was the first WCW game. I see the little screen grab you posted of someone holding a wrench. I don't know why that would have been a weapon, but it reminds me of in WWF Raw. That was like the first game that I remember playing that had weapons you can use, and it's like your options were the steel chair and a bucket. And this is even before the Godwins are a thing, so it's like why they decided. There was no moment around that time in '94 that I could think of where it was like, oh, you know what? Wrestlers use steel chairs, but also buckets, so we need to incorporate the bucket in a game. Yeah. So, so I don't know why WCW chose a wrench.
I don't know, but I remember saving my money and buying that game, going to Children's Palace.
Yeah.
And buying that game. What a fantastic game. You had to beat everybody, get all the way to the end, and then the final boss was too much for me. I don't know that I ever beat him.
Who was the final boss in that
Can't
game?
remember. He was like a question mark or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking
it was
lame.
just a big... Yeah, it was weak. But, no, you know what? I did beat him with Rick Steiner. And Rick Steiner's move was the Flying Tarduki. Which I still don't know what it is.
Yeah, that is a weird name. You okay? You okay? You dying here?
Oh, I think I caught whatever you had.
No. McRae Mobley.
Probably the AIDS.
No. McRae Mobley says, "What's your favorite movie trilogy?" That's rough because there's a few trilogies that I really enjoy, but if gun to my head, and if someone has one they want to put to my head, please do. I might have to say Back to the Future. I love 1 and 2. 3, when I was younger, I always found it kind of weird because I was never really into westerns, but as I got older, I learned to appreciate that more. And I like the fact that they filmed those movies at the same time. I feel like, I don't know, if you're building a trilogy or a franchise, it's kind of cool that, like, you know, for sure you got guys signed on for multiple movies. You can just get them done back to back, and you know that hey, you're going to see another one in the theater. So I'll go Back to the Future. What do you say, Aaron? Favorite trilogy?
I love Back to the Future. But I was not a fan of the second or the third one as much.
You didn't like the second one?
It was all right, but it's just not in the first one is like an all-timer for me. So the second one had no chance. I don't know. Maybe I'll go Star Wars.
I figured you'd go Star Wars
Because
your
Star
fucking
Wars
little
was my
rinky-dink tattoos.
Yeah. Return of the Jedi was my all-time favorite for a while there. And I didn't like Empire Strikes Back that much, but as I got older, I kind of liked it. But there's that scene where they're in the garbage dispenser or whatever, and the walls are closing in. That's scary.
Have you watched any of the newer Star Wars movies since they started coming out?
Man, I watched when they came back out. What was that, 2000 or 90 something?
Oh, I'm not talking about the second
Okay.
wave. I'm talking about the most recent one that started.
I don't watch any of that anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
Why
no
not?
interest. I hated the ones that they came out with that were actually, 1, 2, and 3?
Well, because
Or however that goes?
yeah, well, because those movies were like all political for some reason. Like it was weird as fuck. Like the
Yeah.
only thing that's like memorable, I think, from those 3 movies to me is like the Jedi race, and that's only because like, you know, it ended up translating into a video game that I would play.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't really like 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, let me go to the Friday movies.
That's a good choice.
Because as I've stated on here before, 2 and 3 definitely better than 1.
Unbelievable. I never believed you until I actually saw them. They are great films. Laugh out loud, crying, laughing.
Yeah.
So silly. All right, hey, that's it for this week, and we're
Oh.
well. Hold on,
A little premature.
Jesus Christ! Make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you download podcasts. Leave a 5-star review. It creates visibility for the podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We've got more videos coming over there. Support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Iron Wrestling. Where you get a buttload of bonus content starting at just $3. And, $5 gets you the videos. Any tier you sign up for, you will get a follow back from us on social media. Just message me. I'll follow you wherever you're at. I message you more than I message my own friends and family. And, you're going to get your name at the end of the videos that I'm creating. And $9, you get involved in the Zoom chat we do once a month. I got something probably coming up this weekend because, you know what? I got a lot of time on my non-functioning hands. So, $25 Howard Animal Steel tier. Great way to support the show. Please do. And you can find me on social media. I am Gregory Iron on Twitter. Gregory_Iron on Instagram. Facebook.com/TheHandicappedHero. You can book me for pro wrestling after I'm done being injured. Motivational speaking, but also pro wrestling seminars. I could probably do that without getting hurt. And I do have a GoFundMe set up on my page. It was set up by Josh from Patreon. I thank you so much for that, my friend. And if you can support, please do. If you can't, if you at least share it, I'm very thankful for that as well. ProWrestlingTees.com/Gregory Iron for my shirts. There's Aaron shirts as well. Iron on Wrestling shirts and Cameo. I can give you a shout out while I'm hurt. And if you're interested in any other shirts that are not up on the website, message me directly. I do have some shirts in stock. And again, All of this will support me while I will not be working at all. And stick around for some updates about my arm going forward. Aaron, what would you like to plug?
I'm on Blue Sky at Fair to Air. And at Fair to Aaron on Instagram. So follow me at those places if you want to. If you don't, I'll just have to live with myself.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Don't get all emotional. Do you want to say goodbye and then kiss on the lips?
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye. And kiss on the lips. Hey. You're taking advantage of me. Stop it. Is that like a monkey sound or
Don't worry about my business.
monkey business?